Hello and welcome, my name is Ben, and in this video I'm going to explain to you how I solo travelled to Australia and got a job in the mines with no security, no interviews lined up, or anything, or not even knowing what the first thing about mining is, just knowing that it's a job that pays a lot of money for a bit of labour. So we've got a couple of sub points here. I'm going to go over what I did from New Zealand, so everything that I did in New Zealand prior to coming to Perth, organising the journey from New Zealand to Perth, what I did immediately after landing, the accommodation that I had organised, the process that I went through purchasing a reliable car, my first interview, certifications that I had to get, my second interview, finding a flat, people that I met in the hostel that were doing the same thing as I was but failing, reasoning by analogy versus first principle thinking. I'll just brush over that a little bit, and where I'm at now. So these are the things I'm going to try and cover. Starting with what I did from New Zealand. So before I came to Australia, things that I organised that helped me a lot, just with a bit of peace of mind, and just so, if something did go wrong, I wouldn't be stuffed. So first thing I did, obviously, was I picked a date. I was a bit confused on where everything went and how everything was going to get started. So the first thing, pretty much I booked flights a month out from when I decided I want to do it. I picked a month in advance. If you're working full time, then I'd probably do a bit more than a month because it takes a while to get everything sorted. I pretty much used, a lot of that month just organising my life, selling everything that I own, giving up my flat, and things like this. So it was pretty much the name of the game for me was just acquiring as much cash as possible to take to Australia. So when I do land, I'm able to sustain myself for a certain amount of time and obviously acquire a reliable car. Thing you will need to know about Perth before you come here, if you're planning on public transport, Perth is huge. The land area of Perth is massive compared to its population. So the public transport is shocking. I wouldn't even bother. If you can't get a car here, you're going to struggle. It's possible, but you'll struggle. So also what I did from New Zealand was I set up a bank account prior. I registered with ANZ, Australian New Zealand Bank, so that all I needed to do was walk into ANZ with my proof of ID and they'd give me my account and my card. And that was pretty easy to set up. They even called me and organised all that, set up on my phone and stuff. And I also got a interview lined up. So I didn't want to get over here with no job, no prospects or anything. I needed at least some sort of potential for earning. So I did want to go in the mines. That was always the plan. But you can't organise a job in the mines from overseas. You just can't. There's so many things you need to do. There's so many medicals and things you need to go through before they can even determine whether you're going to be eligible. They can't, guarantee you a position in the mines from where you're at. You show up, you're not fit for work, they turn you back around and say, well, sorry mate, back to where you came from. They can't really do that. So what you can do is you can ring what I would call a recruitment agency, which is, you've probably heard of this, it's like a big company that sources jobs from people that are needing labourers or skilled technicians or, retail people or whatever. So the companies will go to this recruitment agency and say, hey, we need we need staff. Can you find staff for us? And then people willing to work will contact the recruitment agency saying, hey, look, I don't care what I do. I just need a job for X amount of dollars. So I did that. Got in contact with Hayes in Perth. They were very good. Excellent, actually. And we did some phone interviews and things like this. Did some phone interviews, so I can hear something in the background that's distracting me. She sent me through a lot of documents that I needed to do, including what you would call a white card, which is if you're going to be a manual labour job when you hit to Perth. This is something that you're going to want to do. Unfortunately, you need to be in Perth to start it. It takes about a week, and it will cost you $150, and it takes a lot of time when you get here, so you'll be doing that in the background. So she gave me information on that. She also said, she gave me a minimum starting rate for when I get over here. She said, if you get through the interview, which you will, if you can speak and read and write, and well, maybe that's not even necessary. If you're not, out of your mind, they'll probably give you a job minimum starting rate at around $28 an hour. So that's pretty good, just off the bat. So actually, when I got in, we'll go into that a bit later. Anyway, so that's what I did. So I got an interview, set up bank, got cash, sold everything, sorted accommodation. So that's the next thing. I booked a hostel. You're probably familiar with this. What a hostel is. It's pretty much like a group home full of travellers that will all come there for an, varies amount of stay, and they've got shared facilities, things like a kitchen, a common room, and stuff like that. So I booked that. It was relatively cheap. I think it was around $300 Australian for 2 weeks. So that was the kind of time frame I had when I got over here. I knew that I had about 2 weeks to find a room, a permanent place, somewhere that I could live and work out of. So that was it. And then pretty much we'll just skip to the flight. So yeah, that was all sorted. I had that all organised. But this is not a blueprint. Yeah, there's probably things that I've left out. You'll figure it out as you go along. So pretty much I flew from Christchurch, New Zealand to Melbourne. Had about a 3-4 hour layover, and then I flew from Melbourne to Perth. Landed around 11 o'clock at night. It was in total about a 16-hour journey. And after I got off the plane, clicked my baggage, obviously, made my way outside and tried to get an Uber. It was chaos, even at 11 o'clock at night. It was hectic. And, the Uber wait time and the fare for even a 15-minute journey was around $50. So you can see that I stress the importance of getting a car, because if you're needing to rely on public transport or ride sharing, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg or a huge amount of time and walking. So I pretty much got through the accommodation. It was a cheap hostel. And I will mention, whatever reason you're travelling for, whether it's to meet people, get out of your comfort zone, I will stress remaining focused. And we're going to get into this, some of the casualties around me to, not just following their nose and, making their way for it themselves. Remaining focused is a really important thing. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on around you. There's social groups there and social groups there, and they're all wanting to go off and do all these things. But you're there for a reason. You're there to get a job and make money. As much as it would feel good to blow off a little bit of time, but unfortunately, if you're there to waste time, then you shouldn't be doing this. I don't think. And a lot of people, I feel like the opportunity for them has come and gone. And some of them have been in the hostel for months trying to do the same thing that I was doing, but I fear lost focus, lost motivation, lost confidence, and then just got stuck and was waiting out their time to go back to home. So that's not what you want to do. So remain focused on your mission. Plug in, tune out, stay on your laptop, whatever you've got, stay on your computer. I suggest bringing a laptop. Do what you need to do. Find a room, find a car, sort out interviews, do certs. I was never not working. I was always on the go, always out at the hostel, never sitting around doing nothing, always on the go to the next thing I had to do. Things like getting a new SIM card for my phone, or just little things like finding food even is a pretty important thing. Anyway, so that's hostel life. Everything's going on around you. You plug it in, it's free Wi-Fi, and finding a car and finding also looking for a job in the mines, while I'm in there, even though I had the interview coming up. I was in Perth now, so I'm able to look for a job in the mines. So I was constantly doing that. I was calling people on the phone all the time, trying to find a car, trying to find a room. Anyway, so that was the next thing that I did. Pretty much the day after I landed, I purchased a car. I got very lucky. So you want luck on your side. Roughly around 4,000 Australian dollars is going to set you back for something that you won't have nightmares about. So you want a car that's somewhat reliable, that you can rest easy knowing that the next time you jump in it, it's not going to shit itself. I got very lucky to find a car for $2,500. So that was the cheapest car going at the time, and it was a massive family that sold it to me. The daughter had inherited money and was buying a brand new flash car, and they were just letting it go pretty much for nothing. And it was serviced, it had tyres and everything. Cars that I viewed beforehand for $4,000, jumped in it, and the wheel bearings were going $5,000 Australian. Bring with you to buy a car, because if I wasn't so lucky, that's what I would have had to spend. So $5,000 Australian. So now you can see it's not a minimal endeavour. To get to and from work, they're going to want you to have a car as well. In the interview, at the recruitment agency, they're going to ask you, do you have reliable transport? This is one of the first things they ask you. So get a car, get that money. So yeah, pretty much. And then I was still living out of the suitcase at this point. In my bunk bed, I was in a room with 10 people. So I was still living out of a suitcase and doing communal washing and shit. I refused to use the kitchen. It was disgusting. Everyone was always talking and drinking and, you know, going on around that. I was just not amongst it. You know, at night I was doing certifications and training and for the white card and other things like this, and completing, you know, tasks that I needed to do, you know, talking to potential people that I might want to meet with and stuff like this. So yeah, the day of the interview, I think it was on the Monday, so I got there the Friday, got a car the Saturday. Sunday I was looking for jobs in the mines. I was busy Sunday getting a SIM card and things like this, and then Monday morning, first thing Monday morning, had the job interview with Hayes, and they guaranteed me, they were like, fantastic, we've got you a job. They guaranteed me a job for $33 an hour, no qualifications needed, with the government. It was in a government job, fantastic job, $33 an hour, you know, for 40 weeks for a 6-month period. I mean, no, 40 hours a week minimum for a six month period, up to 60 hours a week. Great money, you know, $33 an hour, you know. And I still think maybe I should have taken that role, but we'll move on to it. So I had that, right, and they said, okay, yeah, starting point is in a week, and that's a job I would have started if I didn't find a job in the mines, the one I was looking for. But I had that security. This was an interview that I set up in New Zealand, maybe 3-4 weeks prior, so it was good to have that. So got in, you know, shook the hands, did the thing. They said, oh yeah, bloody good. Can you start this time? And I didn't even have my white card at that point because it takes so long to get it, so it wasn't even a white card required. I'm not saying you're going to get this lucky. I'm not. You know, if you're not a fluent English speaker, you might have trouble. Okay? It is Australia, so that was pretty lucky. So I started getting some certifications, started getting that white card under the belt. And in the background, I've now bought a car. I've gone through this so quickly. But in reality, this was a mission. It was so hard to do. You know, when I didn't have a car, I was Ubering out to the other car yard on a dime. You know, really quickly, short notice, to try and secure a cheap vehicle. You know, $50 Uber fare there, $50 Uber fare back. You know, and then a $60. I think it was like $60, $70 Uber fare from the central city where I was going to go check out this car. So like the cost of these Ubers were racking up, so I was desperate to get a car. It wasn't easy. It was far from easy. But possible, doable, that's for sure. Anyway, so I got the car, and then I was mobile, right? And then I started looking for a flat, somewhere to live out of. And I think the night before my second interview, right? No, sorry. So I had my second interview the day I found my flat. So the second interview I'm talking about is the mining company that I run. So what you're going to need to do, and this is really good advice, this is just in general for about finding a job. If you apply for a job, you got to imagine that thousands of people were applying, or hundreds of people were applying for that job, hundreds. And you know, you're trying to set yourself apart from all of them. How many of those hundreds of people are going to pick up the phone, ring the employer and say, hey, I applied for your job 2 days ago, haven't heard anything back, I just want to know if you're interested. Can you please have a look at my resume? That was it. That's all I had to do. I'm not going to go into about the experience that I had, but I have very good experience that aligns with mining specifically. I'm used to the shift work. I'm used to this hard manual labour job. So if you want a job in the mines, maybe do a couple months hard manual labour before you go out, just to see if you want to like it or not. I mean, that's just forward thinking anyway. But so I said I've got 2 years deep sea fishing experience. Please look at my resume. You know, and on the phone, you know, all of a sudden I've separated myself from these hundreds of candidates, and now I'm on the phone with them already. And so the next thing she said, oh yep, where are you? What's your name? Oh yep. She couldn't even find it because there were so many to look through. Oh yeah, here you are. Great, found me, pulled me up, gave it a quick read. Oh yeah, cool. So when can you come in for an interview? Boom, just like that, I've separated myself from these hundreds of candidates sitting around waiting, hoping they hear back. Secured an interview the next day. I said to her, hey, I can even come today if you want, like right now. Give me a couple of hours, go chuck my dress shirt on and my nice pants and shoes, and I'll be in. But tomorrow, if you want, that works. So that was, I think we're on for Tuesday now. So Wednesday had the interview, and then, you know, at night I'm still messaging around trying to find a permanent room. Finding a permanent room is the hardest thing that you'll do. Finding a car was the longest process. It was, you know, finding jobs, getting interviews, buying a car, getting my SIM, setting up my banking, all of this stuff was easy compared to trying to find a permanent room. This is the most highly competitive thing. Super hard to do because they're picky. They want good people to live with them. So that was, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If you get offered a room, take it. Anyway, so I found the flat. Anyway, so we'll wind back a little bit. Went to the interview, had the interview, went great, fantastic. They said, yep, we can take you on. So initially, once I accepted the job with them, I went back to the hostel, collected all my things, because I'd found a room in the meantime. Going to go view the room, and I said, if I view it, can I move in right now? Is it all right? And she said, yeah, if it goes well, that's cool. We had a little bit of semantics going on about bond and stuff that we needed to figure out, but I had the cash, so it was alright. So, accepted. So, I had the interview. They didn't offer me the job yet. As I was still organising my stuff, I think on the drive out to the new flat, I got the call, pulled over, accepted the job. They offered it to me as a driller. So, I'm going out drilling. That's what I'm doing. And they said, yep. And they, boom, all of the emails started flooding in, all of the stuff. So this is why I needed to be in Australia to do this, because the next week after that, we're coming on 9 days or 10 days being in Australia at this point, after all these courses. I had a week full driving course, firefighting, health and safety, inductions, this, that and the other, you name it, had to sit through it, at least 5, 10-hour days full with just courses. Had a medical, everything. The whole 9 yards. So that's why I need to be in Australia to do this shit. And then it was not today, but yesterday. I went in for the final meeting, where I had to meet with the HR person, sign the employment agreement, and then they handed me all of my uniforms. I'm looking at it now, a mountain of high-vis and hard hats and glasses and a big chili bin, what they call a crib is what they call it here. And then today, my day off, I've signed the agreements. I've only got a few things to do left. Went out, bought some big nice work boots, and Bob's your uncle, flying out in a few days. I think it's what are we on for? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days. I'm flying out to Pilbara. I'm going to be going onto a mine site. $35 an hour, 84 hours a week. Exactly what I wanted for a 2 to 3 week stint. Come back and all good. So yeah, that's pretty much how I did it so far. That's kind of the thing. So before I let you go, that's step by step, but I'm going to give you some anecdotes. So the people that I met in the hostel that were doing the same thing that I were failing, is they were so involved with talking to everyone else and, oh yeah, are you going out to the mines? Or, oh yeah, did you try going to the mines? Or yeah, tell me about the mines. So, and then all of these people that are talking to them, giving them the wrong idea, telling them, oh yeah, it's really hard. They're competitive. They don't want him to succeed. He just, I don't know. He's telling them, oh no, yeah, it's really hard, mate. Oh, you'll never find a job doing that. Oh no, you need so many licenses to even get your foot in the door. No, you need thousands of dollars. It's not true. None of it was true. But he's sitting here telling me I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. I didn't talk about it at all. I just did it. And he's sitting here telling me, oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And in my mind, I was like, mate, I've just done it. I've just done it, and you're telling me that I can't do it because of this, and this, and I just know you're wrong about everything. So I try to give him a little bit of, hey mate, don't listen to what anyone else is saying. That's called reasoning by analogy, right? So that's reasoning by analogy is when you listen to somebody else's experiences and then take it for fact. Well, that's not always fact. Just because somebody is telling you that doesn't mean that it's true. They might have had a bad run. They might be negative. They might be saying something to soften their ego or heal their self-esteem because they've failed. They've had a bad interview or they've been rejected and they're saying, oh no, it's because of this and this and this and this. Well, in reality, they might have just had the wrong attitude, going into it. So always keep positive. Don't believe what anyone else has to say. Find it out for yourself. And you won't find it out for yourself until you pick up the phone and you ask, the people that are actually offering the jobs. That's what they want to see. A bit of intuition. So unfortunately for this guy, he'd been in the hostel for a couple of months now. 2 months in a hostel. I couldn't even imagine living there for another week. Constantly woken up in the night. People are coming and going. rude people, loud people, stinky people. Just didn't want to be a part of it. Just get me out into my own room, into a nice small house, somewhere where I can function properly. Poor guy. There's other people that were switched on and, taking a bit longer because, they found a job in the meantime, and then they got so consumed with that job that they found that wasn't in mining that they were too tired, or they couldn't even think about it anymore, or when the weekend came and it was time to actually, alright, now it's time to pick up the phone, all the hours that the office was open for them to conduct their interviews, they had work or something. So it's like, pick your poison. Pick a temporary contract if you need to. If you really need the money, do a 2-week contract maybe. Make that money, sit on it, and then go again. Find another job. But I don't know. If you get full-time employed, you're going to struggle. Especially if it's indefinite. You'll struggle a little bit. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, I think first principles thinking is kind of you strip back all the bullshit and you just find out the most fundamental truths. So what you know to be true, and this is what you learn yourself. So you jump online and you figure out things that is true, that is from trusted sources, and then you go from there. You don't listen to anyone else. So where I'm at now is good. I've got a car. I'm going to the gym soon. I've got a gym membership. I've got food all around me. I've got uniforms. I've got a job to go to. I don't want to jinx anything, touch wood, just yet. So nothing is confirmed. That's what you need to remember. Nothing is certain until it's done. Nothing is certain until it's done. Always be working. Always stay aware. Never rest on your laurels. Always have a backup plan. Always have contingencies in place. Always have enough money in the bank that you can feed yourself and you won't be fucking homeless. Always have a plan B. If this fails and this doesn't work out, well then I'm going to be fucked. What do I do? Okay? Figure out what is. Have it in your mind. Have it in the back of your mind. Sense of security. It'll help you go into interviews. It'll help you in life. So, that's my advice. Hope you enjoyed it. 22 minutes. Went on way longer than I thought it would, but fuck, what a mash. What a mission it's been. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Click like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I might make another video about the minings once I get back, if I get back. So yeah, we'll see you then.